What's up, y'all? Welcome back to another episode of Afronomics. You know the format is different because we're doing just the host episode today. We don't have anybody to interview, but we do have a great topic we want to talk about today. Uh, you want to tell the people what we're talking about, bro?
Yes, sir. First, you gotta introduce yourself. My name is Ita Dambuya.
And I'm Llewellyn Dixon. What's up? What's up,
I don't know why he be assuming that like people know him. Don't know why they know you.
bro?
Don't know why I know you, but
They've been watching the show,
they do know the person we finna talk about. Yes.
Mr.
Today
Speed.
we're today we're talking about Mr. Darren Watkins Jr., formerly known as or informally known as IShowSpeed,
Hmm.
the one of the biggest streamers in the world, young Black American dude that recently took a tour of Africa. He did over 20 African countries within like, a few weeks. So like it was incredible. If you are on social media, you saw it. If you didn't, you live under a rock somewhere or a cave in Afghanistan where they shot Bin Laden. Like you gotta be in the trenches if you did not catch what he was doing. So we're gonna give you our reaction. Of course, this is Afronomics. We talk a lot about what's going on in the continent as it pertains to the diaspora, and we got to talk about it. So today we got four takeaways from Speed's tour. So tune in. We're gonna get into it.
All right, so
Oh, you can tell we practiced this, right? Yeah, we definitely practiced. It's so
takeaway
obvious.
number one. That brother had A1 production. Like that joint was um everything from because remember, he went to how many? I think he did like 20,
It
30
was, it was it was
countries.
over 20. I think I saw 28 or something like that.
Yeah,
It was a
you got
lot.
to have the tickets. You got to get the tickets together, the places to stay, the tours, all of that. Remember, he's streaming dang near 24 hours the entire time, getting content to be able to show to people. And it was engaging. There was not a dull moment in the process of it. And the so shout out to him, shout out to his team. Thank you for even putting that together and making sure that Africa was represented well. So shout out to them for that. So the A1 production on that, we got to give it to them. What's number two?
Yeah, well,
Go ahead.
yeah, no, and then like I would say the collaborators, the team, shout out to everybody. It seemed like every country he connected with people or his team connected with people there that just went above and beyond to show love. Like he met with the Kenyan Prime Minister. He went to a school in Kenya, he played rugby with the rugby national team, met the top like just everything that you can jam pack in like a 2 to 3 day tour. Like there was so many things that it was very well done, very well put together, very well coordinated. Except Nigeria, from what I heard, they kind of dropped the ball on it. But we still love y'all. But it was just so many different aspects, and you just know it takes a lot of coordination. So definitely got to show that out. Oh, shout out Water Maya. Water Maya's a YouTuber, he's Ghanaian, and he's been going and showing Africa for years on YouTube. So it's great just seeing him being a part of it in Ghana. So echo your point. Great production, great teamwork, very well done.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, and even the to think about all the different connections that they had to make and planning and stuff like that, like you're not going to just get access to prime ministers and stuff like that just
Yeah.
willy-nilly. So they had to do some real work,
Yeah.
put in real time and real effort and be intentional. We've talked about that on the show too, with people like Dynast and the ambassador that we had as well, who did the work to be able to like find out what their connections were and being intentional about it. So that was dope.
And another thing with that, just shout out to him for using the platform to go to Africa. Like we have a lot of people in our community that have a lot of influence, a lot of following that, they don't do things like this. So just kudos to him for just shining a light on Africa in an amazing way.
Yep. 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 Yep.
Yeah.
All right. Number two, second takeaway.
Yes, sir. Number two, he showed the real Africa. We talk a lot on this show about how the perspective of Africa, everything is like misconstrued and it's all smoke and mirrors, smoke screens. They don't want us to know what Africa's really like to the point where you just have to go there. And a streamer being there in so many different countries was like kind of the next best thing. And they were very intentional about showing all of these different places. You're able to see the village, you're able to see the marketplace, you're able to see the food, how they made the food. Like Africa isn't just safaris, isn't just lions, but it isn't all fully developed. You got like a well-rounded view of what Africa was, and I very much appreciate that.
And honestly, I'm being silly when I say this, but it's real. Like, so if you watched Black Panther and you saw Ryan Coogler's like his inspiration for Wakanda and all the dress and stuff like that, and you look at the Maasai people and look at show's stream, you'll see the Maasai people are literally wearing the same stuff they were wearing in the movie, the same kinds of stuff. And saying that to say, like Black Panther, the Ryan's I guess his interpretation of what Wakanda is or was or whatever, that's not a fantasy. Like that literally is not a fantasy. Wakanda exists in real life. It's just a matter of the only thing that's missing that is a fantasy is the pride for African culture and the advancement and the leadership and all the other things to actually make it a legitimately thriving uh continent and community and culture of people. It's the heart I think that's missing behind it from both sides. But like Wakanda exists in the traditional form with the traditional dress and all of that, and the skyscrapers and the stadiums and the fun and everything else. It exists. So it doesn't have to be that Black Panther is just some fantasy that's out there. And that's what I think he did really well to show like, yo, yeah, y'all see this on TV for in fantasy, and real life, the narrative tries to be something like, oh, Africa is poor or whatever. But nah, this is what it really is. What you see as what's given to you as a fantasy is reality.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be that a fake thing.
And you also got a chance to like kind of see what you would experience. Like one of the things I thought was dope was when he was in the market and they were like, he was gonna buy something. They were like, no, you got to negotiate. Like in America, that concept really isn't as big. Like you go to the store, you go like to a shop, the price is the price, generally speaking. But
Yeah.
like over there, you haggle. Like that's like one of the biggest things. Like even if it's like the pricing is not even a big deal, it's more so like that's part of the experience. They know he can afford whatever he was finna pay, but they told him to negotiate because that's part of the culture. Like whenever we go back to Sierra Leone, the same thing. You go to Ghana, it's the same thing. It's literally a part of the culture. So it's like you kind of got to see the experience, the real.
And I love going back home and haggling. Or even if I'm here and talking to somebody who I know is from the culture, you as soon as you hit them with the my friend.
Yeah, no,
You
my friend.
you
That's
already know what's
exactly
gonna
what
go
they
down.
said.
My friend, let me help you.
All right. On to takeaway number three.
Takeaway number three. We got it took control of the narrative. I said that I mentioned that earlier, but um we have, by we, I mean Africans and Black Americans, have allowed the Europeans and the West and everybody else to tell us about ourselves and put Africa on display as they would have it, literally down to history and even why Africa was even disrespected and torn apart to begin with, because a historian traveled to Africa and just basically lied on everybody and said that it was a place full of savages and everything else. And that's what he took back to Europe. And we have the things that have happened to us historically now. And so the narrative has been one that Africans are savages. We don't have much going on there, and our traditions are need to be changed or whatever, civilized and things like that, because the camera was in somebody else's hand. The camera in this case was in a black man's hand, a dark-skinned black man's hand, who did his research to see even how he was connected to the continent before he went there. And so he took control of the narrative. And this is one of those things where they say until the what's the
Till the
paradox?
line has the pen.
Until the lion has the pen, the hunter will always come out victorious or something like that.
Yeah.
You know
The
how,
perspective of the hunter. I don't know. You
yeah,
don't
something like
quote if you don't know it. This is you just next time. Just keep
that.
that in mind.
Yeah.
But yeah, no. I one thing I can say, and I appreciate in taking back the narrative. Like Speed was very open. Like of all the clips, like they were like, "Oh, we're gonna try this food." He's like, "Oh yeah, hell yeah, let's try it. We gonna do this." Like he was very open and not judgmental of anything, which really added to experience because you're able to kind of experience Africa in a very open way. So definitely love that aspect and like taking back the narrative. Certain things like what?
No, I just wanted to redeem myself because I figured out what it was supposed to say for
You look it
real.
up.
I Googled
Of course you did. All right,
it.
what is it? Listen, we have
Until the lions have their own historians, the history of the hunt will always glorify the hunter. And so and this is an African proverb, and so he is taking his historian and he is doing it himself and not glorifying the hunter. So
okay, great
that was
job,
the point I
Llewellyn.
was trying to make. Thank you
Fantastic,
for redemption.
fantastic. Yes, yes. So another thing we'll tell you about the narrative. So when he was in Egypt, and this actually was kind of going viral. People were sharing the clips. He's walking by one of the statues. And he's like, "Why is that one nose broken?" And he knew what he was doing. I gotta give kudos because had he gone in, because with the perspective of like we all know that like the ancient Egyptians were black, but
Yep.
they rewrote history and whitewashed them,
Yep.
and that's why the noses are broken. We know this because if he would have had a big, broad Llewellyn nose on that statue, you would know historically that the Egyptians were yeah. It wasn't a stray because it was more so like aimed right at you, like had you in my sights. But anyway, if you had the big, broad, like bell pepper nose like Llewellyn did on that statue, then then they would have it would be easy. It would be very hard to keep that lie of the ancient Egyptians, the Kemites were not black. So the fact that he asked that question just kind of pointed out. She gave some BS excuse like, "Oh, the erosion factor." Like,
But I guess we can show the clip if we can get it in there. But
yeah,
that's and what I saw what I took away from that when I saw it, people would be quick to jump on her, which rightfully so, because she's an adult. But
yeah, no,
we also don't know the access that Egyptians have to real history and what's controlling their education as well. We know that governments can control what their people are taught and how they're taught. So she is a reflection of literally them trying to whitewash or change history to completely get rid of ancient Africans and what they really look like. Because, like I said, she is culpable in it because now she's an adult. So at some point, you got to read on your own and stop perpetuating the foolishness. But she is clearly a product of whatever her education system said, and that's clearly what the education is being taught in Egypt.
and she
It
wasn't even
because I think,
confident in it.
huh?
She wasn't even confident herself. Look,
Yeah, her she was like, well, the structure of the
she's like,
statue.
we
Nah,
think,
sis, they cut that joint off because they were
yeah,
black. They were
yeah. Like, they
jealous.
want to see that. They want to see that thick Michael Jackson before the surgery nose. They want to see that.
Exactly, exactly. But yeah, that's just a perfect example of and I don't know anything about the Egyptian education system, but that shows either she didn't pay attention in school and she really is culpable, or she just saying what they told her in school.
Yeah, I mean that's yeah. But anyway, with us being able to be in those rooms and have that platform, we can point stuff out like that. So that's a big part of taking back the narrative. And then outside of that, just showing, African cities, African development, people in school, like I think hopefully the Africans in this generation growing up in elementary school don't have to have the same questions that we got asked. Like, oh, did you live in huts? They, yes, there were people living in huts in the live stream, but then there were people that were living in skyscrapers and cities. So it was like a kid seeing that, that's gonna change everything of like how we interact with each other. So the kids coming up in the next generation, they're not going to assume that you live with lions. They'll know that there's a lot more to African countries, and that's a big part of it.
Yep. Yep.
All right. And then the
What number
last thing,
4?
number four. Oh, bro, man, from the what was it?
The brother man from the fifth floor.
Fifth floor. Yeah, number four, number four. And this one is actually one of my favorites, and that is Africa Loves Black Americans. Speed got so much love on that trip. They were so welcoming. It was like it was like a huge homecoming. And people might say, "Oh, well, he's a celebrity. He's a, streamer. They just doing it for the clout and everything." But we know it's real because on this show, we've interviewed a lot of people. A lot of them are Black Americans that trace their roots, went back, and every single one of them has echoed the same thing that when they went, they felt loved and welcomed, and people referred them as brother and sister, and they felt appreciated. Like they came home and the weight just dropped. And I think Speed was showing maybe a more emphasized version of that because of his celebrity, but the sentiment is still there. It's a welcome home type situation, and you can fit into the culture. Uh, You have to have respect for the culture, as he showed. He demonstrated he went in there with a lot of humility. That's a part of it. But once you do that, there is a lot of love for you as a Black American. And I saw a lot of Black Americans getting emotional watching that live stream because they knew everything that they've been told is a lie.
And you hit it on the head when you said he showed respect for the culture because um a lot of I realized a lot of the Black Americans who I've talked to, and even some of my cousins who were born and raised here, their perspective of Africa is if they go to Africa, I'm talking about like my cousins, for example, if they go to Liberia, they go to Africa and they want to stay, they have to have the same kind of living conditions as they would have here. They turn their noses up at things that are traditionally African or whatever. And it's like, no, of course, the people, Africans are also very sensitive people for the culture. And so if you go there and there's a feeling of discomfort or disdain, or you feel like you're better than them, then yes, they're going to feel that energy and reciprocate it exactly to you in the same way. But if you go and like Show did, if you go and you are open and you're seeing it and you're taking it in for what it is, you're not going to like everything when you get there, but if the love is there, the energy will be there and will be reciprocated right back to you. But you can't go there and just, try to Americanize everything and just have everything, want everything to be how you're used to or want to be. You're not going to have a good experience that way. It's not going to work out for you.
And I would say the one exception out of everywhere he visited, and people saw this, was when he was at AFCON with in Morocco.
Yeah.
The experience there was definitely different, and that's something I've heard, echoed from, different Africans. And I'm not going to like say it's all North Africans, that it's all Moroccans that think that way. We've had somebody from Mauritania that's like North African, and
Yeah.
he's very, much, he was pretty sociable, and but there is definitely some situations and perspectives of Northern Africa where they associate more with Arabs, and there's a lot of racism there. And Speedy unfortunately experienced that. I think somebody threw a banana at him.
Yeah.
The like racial slurs, like he needed security, and it's not just Speed. The African, like the Western Africans that were there for AFCON, like Senegal, Morocco tried to cheat them out of they were cheating the whole tournament and tried to cheat them out of the final. And that was a whole scandal. And Senegal, stayed strong. Shout out Sadio Mane and the Senegal team for winning. But there was a lot of issues. I think we really need to be kind of addressing that at a larger scale. But other than that, got a lot of love in Africa, in different African countries. So definitely want to focus on the positive.
Yep. Yep. So I think that's it. We had our 4 takeaways from watching shows
I
Africa.
Speed, what you calls him show?
Show
I
Speed.
show
Mr.
Speed.
Speed. I'm gonna call him Mr. Speed.
Like it's like
I don't
his
know.
show is
I
weird.
don't
Like I
listen. I'm
never. It's
old.
like that.
I'm
Yes,
an
yes.
old man.
I
I don't
know.
know how you people talk about these people.
So
I didn't know the man existed
gonna
until this.
we're gonna we watched a show in Africa and he just doing a great job and like who the hell is show?
His name is okay,
Nobody
Mr.
calls up
Show Speed.
Mr. Show Speed. Mr. Show Speed. You 47? How old?
I'm 35.
And you 35 going on 52.
I mean, Mr. Speed. I show speed. Darren,
Yes. Anyway, that's the end of our show, people. Appreciate you.
that's the
Thanks
end
for
of the show.
tuning in. We got more content coming. It's gonna be an amazing. We got a few things coming up this year. We're very excited about. Go ahead, like, subscribe, because you do not want to miss anything that we're dropping this year. We dropping straight heat, straight fire,
Fire.
fire, fuego. We're
Fire.
going crazy. Go ahead, like, subscribe, tell everybody. Check us out.
Hasta luego.